Now, let's go up to Tufts. In the past, we've had stories on some of the challenges that undocumented high school students face here in Somerville. What happens when they and other undocumented youth want to go to college? Even though undocumented students are legally able to attend university here, they are not eligible for most state and federal financial aid. Most private universities don't give them grants. But this is starting to change. Last fall, NYU joined the growing list of colleges and universities that want to help undocumented students with grants and loans. The student group Tufts United for Immigrant Justice thinks Tufts should follow NYU's lead. What do students and others on campus think? Reporter Hadley Green, a Tufts student, went to find out.
Given the fact that Tufts strives to have an inclusive or diverse student body, and given the fact that there's a large immigrant population in Somerville, do you think that Tufts should reform the way that they treat undocumented student applications and possibly follow in NYU's footsteps?
Yeah. I do think they should reform their program. I work in Somerville, and I work with a lot of immigrants and people who aren't from America, and I know that there are a lot of immigrants in the education system, especially here in Boston. So finding out that that they treat undocumented applications as international applications, I understand why they do that. That makes sense. However, I think that with the issue of financial aid not being able to get federal funds for the applications, that there should be some sort of adjustment for that.
I would say 100% yes. I definitely think that Tufts should do this. Biggest reason being that I think what happens is thinking about how education, generally speaking, is considered like something everyone needs to succeed and to reach social mobility. And what's happening is that these undocumented students or youth are already disadvantaged being undocumented, probably not having English as their first language, probably coming from poor, low-income backgrounds, and not giving them access to education further keeps them in those positions. And so what happens is, I don't necessarily agree with the idea of like total assimilation, but if we're talking about how immigrants should assimilate and they should do all these things, education is one way to do that. And if you're not allowing them to do that, particularly getting the advantages that come from coming like to an institution like Tufts, then you're purposely keeping them down and you're purposely keeping them in a disadvantaged position. So I also think that if Tufts was really about getting diverse perspectives, that is one perspective that's completely absent from the Tufts campus as well. And that not only should we be thinking about how do we benefit as a university from having undocumented students on this campus, but really how are we as a university, as this nonprofit institution, keeping opportunities for people that could really use it.
I mean, it sounds like a good program, but obviously, financial stuff is so difficult, and it's hard to say what you're taking money from and what. I mean, if they could get someone to fund that program, that it sounds like an excellent program. But at the same time, it's hard to just say, make hundreds of $1,000s a year out of the air.
I think so. I think that one of the really cool things about Tufts is that you have the opportunity to be in Somerville and to be in Medford. And it's really sad that the campus is not reflective of the surrounding communities that are just so diverse with people coming from all over. And I think that any steps that Tufts can take to make that a reality. I mean, Somerville High School is down the street, and how many kids do we get from Somerville every year? It's very minimal. I think it would be awesome to see Tufts take those steps because I think it'd be a move in the right direction.
I don't know that the situation in Somerville is directly correlative to the matriculating body here at Tufts. I don't know what percentage of I believe the percentage of students from the Boston area that matriculate to Tufts is very low.
Some of my best friends from high school are undocumented, and weren't eligible for financial aid, and they're in incredible debt trying to go to universities that they and their friends have gone to. I think that's completely unfair, given the fact that they've often been raised in the U.S. their whole life,
and shouldn't be prohibited from being able to go to a school that they have earned the right to go to and worked hard to go to. So I think that Tufts should definitely do whatever they can to try to make undocumented students receive the help they need to be able to attend this university.
Yeah, I feel like if the endowments allows, I feel the university should definitely take that action because, we're known for our diversity, and I mean, these students have very interesting background and staying this country for their almost whole their life. If they're excellent enough, they should be considered, and they should, have the privilege to be considered as a citizen when they're applying for universities. And I feel it's fair for them, but I also understand that, like, for the university, they have different distribution of money. They want to make the best use of the money. So, I mean, I would definitely push for that, but I also understand if the university rejects this proposal because may have some of their own considerations.
That sounds like a good idea to me, since something that I feel as though Tufts doesn't do the best job with economic diversity, even if it does maybe do a decent job with, ethnic diversity. Not that I'm necessarily the expert, but I think that program could really aid Tufts not only in improving economic diversity, but also ensuring that people from the local community have a chance to attend Tufts.